Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got a hell of a matchup for you right now. Oboy versus 0Practice. We're going to be starting out here on the killer side here from OB, and we have some very special guests joining us today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Williawesome with the DBDLeague League coming at you with a great chase to start things off. Shaq Pallet is already down, and ooh, Shicey takes the chainsaw to the back in a very early first look for Oboy.
Yeah, incredibly early first look coming through, actually. There's going to be barely any gen pressure coming off of the side of this as well. Generally, against S-tier killers, you will see survivors, doubling up on gens just to get as much early game pressure as you can, but that's simply not possible when the hook comes through so early. And the thing with Billy is that you don't even need to particularly hard test, right? Because you have such great ability, because you have the overdrive on top of our iridescent add-on, which allows you to move at essentially warp speed. I mean, like, you're essentially camping the hook from the other side of the map, right? It's almost illegal. It's wrong and filthy, yet somehow it's so fun to watch, right? We're gonna have ZSC here trying to use these small tiles to their benefit right now, but eventually couldn't do it. Gets down. That's another down going the way of Oboy. We're going to have 2 hook stages, 0 generators completed, Williawesome.
Yeah, and this is a very dangerous situation you're in now as 0Practice, because in another minute or so here, we might be looking at a very early 3v1. These generators don't have a whole lot of progress on them, except for... Oh no, he doesn't get it done! The Ruin's going to start regressing it. Good pallet stun.
Yeah, absolutely brutal right there. The power stun is good. It is going to buy time for this generator to be completed. So at the very least, you are able to make at least a little bit of a dent into these generators, right? However, you do have Ziesi here, who is injured. We're going to see how much you really have to work with here. Billy is in overdrive right now, so that is the power spike, and taking an ill-advised vault right into their face right now. That's just going to be the kill coming through. Only 1 generator completed for it. The industry standard is 2. I mean, that's a pretty good testament to the skill of our killer here today, but also a little bit of beef coming out from Ziesi in that chase to not get as much time, not squeeze as much value as he possibly could have. Crouch check going to be coming through from Goodkhan, trying to avoid the same fate as their dear friend earlier. Playing it relatively well, is going to be forcing the pallet break. Has a window as well right here, but is going to be baited into dropping. Going to be actually surviving for a little bit longer though. Now only has these tires to work with, and it's not going to be working out. Crowd control is still up, has proven to be a bit more of a popular choice for certain Hillbilly players recently. Obviously Bamboozle would be more ideal to some, but I'm not entirely sure if Bamboozle is allowed here. So you opt for crowd control as your kind of substitute for that, right?
Yeah, and we did see the Undying go away a little bit ago. They still having double hexes, and despite the very early 3v1, 0Practice getting a good number of gens done, and Sayora now in chase, taking OB for a bit of a run. So far, I think the best chase performance we've seen this game. And a little bit of a mind game, and Obi not hitting the chainsaw there. Sayora doing a very good job of running Obi around and wasting his time. And Obi's just leaving. He has to give up the chase and pressure the survivors elsewhere.
Yeah, but does end up finding Kurza very, very quickly, though. He's going to be trying to charge up that overdrive as quickly as possible to get that big power spike. Willing to break the pallet and move on here. So good to keep clear the office here for OB. Oh boy, right now, 0Practice survivors. They had a rough start, but they seem to be making something out of nothing here, making just making opportunities where they can, right? Unfortunately, you overstepped your opportunity a little too hard there if it occurs, and you're going to be punished. There is no margin for error against a killer of the caliber of Obi, right? And oh Jesus Christ, okay, that was a jump scare for a good card, if anything, right? Still has his chainsaw on the side right now. I mean, a quick little 180 turn around the corner is going to delay the inevitable a little bit. It was just a stay of execution right there, and Obi delivering the coup de grace, not the perk, but the killing blow instead.
Yeah, and at this point, it's Obi has all the pressure, able to just run around the map, do anything he wants. There's always a survivor being preoccupied, always a survivor on the ground. And I have to comment on it, Sayora doing everything he can to put 0Practice on his back foot. A very nice mind game from Kurzep as we are in this chase, and goes down over the pallet. Sayora gets the pickup onto Good Khan, and Obi just going to be running across the map trying to find these survivors. Once again, does find Sayora, and maybe going to be trying to go for the chainsaw. No, it looks like he just wants to go back, wants to prevent Kurzep from getting picked up.
Yeah, wants to try and prevent that for just a little bit right here. Good Khan is still injured on the side. Does have this med kit to use, but it's always a little bit of give and take, right? Because you can just be downed anyway, right? You have the sprint burst to try and get out of this corner, but that's just going to allow you to get to the next loop instead, which is going to be played almost perfectly by our Billy here. Unfortunately, not quite. The speed at which Billy is just, going around these loops is absolutely terrifying, right? Unfortunately, it's going to be bumping the tire there. Good Khan buying a lot of time for the rest of 0Practice to reset, maybe, finally get some generator progress done. That being said, faking the chainsaw there was the heads-up play from Obi, and it definitely worked out, right?
Yeah, Good Khan greeted the pallet a little bit, didn't quite pay off, but Sayora was able to get the pickup on Kurzep during that chase, and now we're chasing Kurzep once again. That crowd control blocking off that window. He has to go up into this main building, jumps into a locker, just trying to waste some time, but that agitation is going to make it not matter all that much. Good Khan gets picked up off the ground, but all this is happening and no generators are getting done.
The survivors have tried their absolute damnedest to make a bit of a recovery. Good Khan having quite a strong chase there. Obviously, Sayora has been nothing but a shining beacon of light for 0Practice over here. But that's actually going to come through! Come through. That was your one play, your big shot, your opportunity, but it slipped at the very last second. Now Sayora has to hide like I don't know, an animal that hides. I don't have time for clever analogies right now, Williawesome, because we have a game on our hands, and Sayora is just hiding in the corner. This pickup means that maybe you have a brief window of opportunity to try and get Good Khan off the hook, but it is very brief. You need to take it, and you are going to be giving some kind of life over here, whether that's the tunnel onto Kurzep or down onto Sayora, and it seems like we're looking more into Tunnel Town instead.
Yeah, but we do have the decisive on Kurzep, and Obi wants Sayora, the thorn in his side this entire game, the one blocking all of his plans. And we got the 1-for-1. Kurzep goes down. I believe the decisive is gone because of the unhook. And we're back to where we were. 2 survivors up, 1 down on the ground or on a hook. And it almost looked over there for just a split second, but doesn't mean that 0Practice is out of the woods yet.
Decent survivor recovery, but that hit going through the pallet, absolutely criminal right there from Obi. So smooth with it, so clean with it even. Gets that hit through and is going to be putting Good Khan on the hook as well. And that's the kill that does come through. You're now in a 2v1 situation with an injured survivor against a souped up Billy. You have no chance of getting your last generator completed, right? You have no chance of getting anything beyond the 4K2, which we are so familiar with in these Billy sets. We are going to be seeing a drop coming through here. It's going to buy a little bit of distance here for Sayora. Has this window to play around, but isn't actually going to opt to do it.
What?
Almost lives to regret that for a few more seconds, but eventually nothing to live to regret for any further point right now. It's just Kurzep, who is also going to be injured and therefore a bit easier to track down. Obi just needs to run laps around the map, something that you can actually do with this yellow add-on as well, alongside that extra speed too. you can just kind of check on the entire map in about, 5 seconds. Go faster than a damn F1 driver. Kozub is going to opt to use this medkit in the corner, just makes themselves a little harder to track down, but you're going for a hatch play or an exit gate play here, right? Hatch would be very risky during down potato.
Yeah. Sorry, I was hearing some robot voices.
Gosh.
We do have Sierra getting picked up. That fresh hook is going to be denied, or that the fresh hook escape is going to be denied. And right now we have Kurzep just stealthing around, doing a much better job than Sora now that he doesn't have all the bells and whistles. And just crouching around. This is very far away from Shaq, though, so not exactly in position to make that hatch play. And we might be going for an unhook. No, Kurzep is going to hop on the gen, try and play for the win con. But that's going to be really difficult considering none of the generators have any progress because the ruin has been up the whole time.
Are you not a believer, Will? Are you not a believer in the gen play?
Oh, I am absolutely a believer, having finished 4 gens in a 1v1 way back in the day. But this is the hillbilly we're talking about.
Yeah, the new souped-up hillbilly who has hit the gym just a little bit is definitely on some creatine right now. Nice crouch deck does come through from Kurzep, delays the inevitable for a bit longer, also forces the whip through onto the pallet right now. But Kurzep is just delaying the inevitable right now. This kill is going to be coming through. 4K2 is going to be happening. Who would have thought that when there's an angry deformed man running at you with a chainsaw, just crouch in his face? It's that simple, guys. How the people in, Texas Chainsaw Massacre ever died, I don't understand.
The crouch checks do go hard, but it is going to be a 4K at 2 generators. Oboy coming out swinging early with that very early kill, and just from that point on, it was just insurmountable pressure against the survivors of 0Practice. But these two teams very close together in terms of skill in their performance this season, and it looks like we're in for an all-out slugfest. We'll see what 0Practice's killer can do right after the break. Hello everyone, and welcome to game number 2 of set number 1. We have Tree Trick playing the Hillbilly for 0Practice against the survivors of Oboy, and already getting into a chase with OBII Overdrive kicking in, and Tree Trick looks like he wants to lead the chase and maybe go for the generators, get some pressure there. Already the Undying is gone.
Yeah, when you have no real backup, if the Ruin Undying goes, you just don't have regression anymore. Crowd control is going to be a bit of a problem here for Paddloop, so isn't going to be able to play that window, but you don't need to play the window when you have balanced landing instead. But that being said, you do need to keep an eye behind you, because an overdrive hillbilly is still going to be super fast, super difficult to deal with as well. Tree Trick is going to be playing safe, breaking the pallet here against Paddloop, who is still trying to use the environment to his advantage right now. And you can make something out of nothing as a survivor against the hillbillies, right? Unfortunately, something's got to give eventually, and without actual, pallets to work through or anything like that, you are going to be felled eventually. That's going to be another totem glowing as well by the wayside.
That is all of the totems gone. Tree Trick only playing with the Nat, and that was a nice long early chase, and sure, didn't get a whole lot of gen progress, but 3 totems gone, that is absolutely worth it, and we are right now in a chase with Jiggy. Paddloop gets pulled off of the hook, and Tree Trick looks like he wants to go back over the tunnel out. Just try and get as much pressure as possible. That overdrive is building up, almost there, ready to go for the next chase.
He's going to be having it now. He's going to be letting it rip all the way through near the shack. Paddloop is injured up here, but he's going to be a power use anyway. Paddloop is buying time, but also using so many resources, and resources is exactly what you need. Actually kind of listening to exactly what I was saying there, and going to be abandoning that pallet over there Going to be moving over to the car. Very slippery hitboxes on the car, so interesting to see how this one actually plays out right now. He's going to be forcing the drop there, and 2 generators are going to be completed as well. So Paolup is buying some pretty good time right now. In a perfect world on Hillbilly, you would have your first kill by the time these first 2 generators are completed, right? Unfortunately, that is not a world we live in, but Damo has to be very careful here. He's going to be dropping that pallet. Cannot go down under any circumstances right now. Going to be using the firecracker just to, you know, buy a little bit of extra time. You do have these windows to play around, but they're not enough. And now Treetrick in a dominating position. Paolup is able to get picked up, however, and Treetrick bumping into the rock means that the down is not going to be coming through anytime soon. There is the potential for the survivor to pick up Paolup to be picking up Damo as well. Jack Pallet going to be falling again. The crouch checks have been the nemesis, the bane of the Hillbillies' existence for this season of DBDL. And yeah, that's a pickup onto Damo as well. Treetrick greeting maybe a little too hard there. Sometimes you just have to take what you can get, and we're still burning through more and more resources on this side of the map this entire time, while it was either Jiggy or Obi who's been here to help out Obi and to help out Paolup and Damo. Has been the other survivor just working gens on the other side of the map.
Yeah, unfortunately for Treetrick, he did get the 2 downs, the original down onto Paolup, and then the punish onto Daimao for being out of position for that body block. But the survivors of Oboy were able to recover so beautifully, and Treetrick is leaving Daimao on the ground and chasing another survivor, and he might lose all the pressure. Interesting little mind game there. Game of chicken in the middle of our game of Dead by Daylight. And yeah, Treetrick just going to be going back to the slug.
Yeah, very interesting play there. Does end up flying past the ears of Obi there. Impressed that the ears didn't actually get chopped off of him on the way past. Does have some windows to work with here. Crowd control is gone, so his windows are going to be a bit stronger. Unfortunately, this is a bit of an awkward tile as well as at the best of times. Treetrick is going to continue to slug though, because the 4K2 is what you need. And Paolup goes down here. That could turn the tides real quick.
Oh, absolutely. And we see the slug play coming through because at this point it has to come through. If these survivors finish another generator, it is going to be the set for Oboy. And we are on the trail of another survivor here. Not sure who it is quite yet. Alec gets dropped in. Now is zoned off. Not a whole lot that's going to be able to be done other than just run for the corner. Paolup gets picked up by Jiggy in the meantime.
You also need to pick up Obi here, though, right? If you're not able to also get Obi off the floor, then this is going to be a tie, as simple as that. And Treetrick going to be coming back to this side of the map with a vengeance. Pickups do come through, so we do have 3 survivors standing right now, and Damo on the other side of the map. We know that there are so few resources over here to work with. Just your windows, just your vaults here. And, I mean, generally that's a good thing against a Hillbilly to force the M1, but everyone's injured, so it doesn't even matter if the Billy gets the M1 on you. You go down all the same, but every single survivor is now up off the floor. Interested to see whether survivors opt to reset or continue to bully out the generators. Treetrick certainly prioritizing the gen. Survivors saying we're gonna at least get ourselves a little bit healthy first. Treetrick only has a single hook stage right now. I mean, had to go for a slug play earlier, but clearly blowing up in their face.
Yeah, and we do see these survivors going for the resets. They do not want that Thanatophobia to be in full effect while they're trying to crank out this last generator. And it looks like it is going to be the second hook stage for Treetrick and the second fresh hook stage. This demo has not been hooked before, and we do have this generator over here that does have some progress on it. And this is, I believe it's going to be Paolup getting chased out. Looks like it's going to be the 1-for-1.
Yeah, it's going to be coming through here, and you're not really in a position to tunnel out here for Treetrick. If you would have done it, it would have been onto Paolup, but stayed alive for far too long. Now you still have a lot of survivors standing here, and you just have to think, how far are these gens flying in the meantime? That one, with a little bit of progress on it, is going to be forcing the survivor off. Also coming back to the unhook here. If you want to get someone out of the game, it has to be Paolup, and it has to be right now, right? And it's actually going to be Treetrick trying to zone the survivors out here. Does get the free down onto Damo with the confidence and the knowledge that he can maybe get through onto Paolup. But again, you are still not confident in your generators, right? And we do have Obi running a long way away, and it's good that they did, or else would have been stuck out in the open. Instead, has this awkward kind of newer window tile to be working with instead. 5 times looking up to come through right now. And treat it right now. It's like playing against a Demogorgon with portals on either side of the map. It is absolute insanity playing against a overdriving Billy with these Redding Ravens.
Yeah, and it is worth mentioning. Oh, that is a nice down. I was gonna say that generator at the main building is so close to completion. Jiggy getting a lot of work done, wasting a lot of Treetrick's time, and Daimao and Pelu are both up, able to work on generators as well. And it's really tough for Treetrick. There's no 3-gen you can easily defend. So as fast as you move with this overdrive, you're still having to cross the entire map.
And Jiggy, far too inexperienced as survivor to pull the Treetrick's mind games right there. Also going to be dodging that hit as well, buying more precious seconds for these survivors right now. It's not just, the thing is, it's not just this generator in the main building, right? As we do have that vault that is going to be going through the substation. It's not just this main building that's being opened out, right? Think of the other side of the map and how it's being all but untouched by our killer right here, right now. He's eventually going to be forced to return back, but that is the last gen going to be completed. Oboy securing the Hillbilly set right here. And now Treetrick was more dangerous than a Hillbilly with nothing to lose, right?
Nerf with nothing to lose?
Possibly, but we were actually... You said Nerf with nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
We were actually having this discussion earlier in the last match with Cole about how recently, it's almost as if Billy has been performing better than Nurse. Obviously, in the individual chase, you take Nurse any day of the week, has the best hit out of the game, it's not particularly close. But in terms of the macro, the fact is that once Nurse gets to her spot, she has to chill out for a few seconds before then actually going to the chase, right? And has to just kind of trail survivors the entire way until has that power back. Whereas Billy can get to any location, down the survivor, or get near to a survivor, and then instantly start that chain to go right back up again to then enact one of the deadliest chase powers in the game, right? In the macro sense, there is a very possible argument to be made that Billy is better. It doesn't mean that they're better on ladder, better in the 1v1 necessarily, but in the 4v1, possibly a better killer, at least in competitive balance.
Yeah, and you do have a good point, but as the gates are open and these survivors are starting to escape, maybe a Nurse with nothing to lose isn't better than a Billy with nothing to lose. But how about this? A Pinhead looking for vengeance. As soon as we are in this game, we're going to be setting up that Cenobite set, and that's what both these teams are looking forward to now. Oboy trying to secure that momentum of possibly getting a 4-out, which is highly likely given all 4 survivors are up, and
except
we have a bottom block play. Maybe no. Timeout. Not quite.
Come on, give him the hatch. It's already like no, I'm joking. Yeah, no. Treetrick's gonna have so many negative comments in the speed profile after this. Toxic Killer didn't even give me the hatch at the end. Like, what the hell, guys? So yeah. Strong play coming out from Oboy there. They were able to actually complete every single generator and get 3 outs, which is a testament to their skill on the survivor side. It is, as you said earlier, going over to the Cenobite. Next Treetrick is going to be opening that one up more than likely for the 0Practice team. Going to be seeing whether they've been practicing up their Pinhead at the very least on the Dead Dog Saloon. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back shortly. Hello and welcome back to Oboy versus 0Practice. Oboy with a pretty cold performance there, taking our first set, and we are going to be going over to Treetrick, who definitely more in favor of the M1s, going to be finding the box nice and early, something that top Pinhead players have figured out how to do consistently, so it's going to give them quite a big advantage. Also, Pinhead being a low tier killer has access to some better perks. Bamboozle is going to be very helpful in the chase. You have your Pain Resonance Regression alongside your Ruin as well. Can be especially useful if you're seeing survivors of gens, team play is so important against a pinhead simply because there is a side objective, the box, it needs to be done, it needs to be focused on, you cannot ignore it no matter what you do. And it's going to be interesting to see when the survivors are going to actually opt to get rid of it, where they choose to solve it, just to keep themselves in a position where it can't be cancelled, and away from the gens and the rest of the team as well.
Yeah, and speaking of that box, Jiggy does solve the box, and we're still in this chase with Paliloop. Had a bit of a rough start at the start of the last round, but very strong chase so far to make up for it, and running around this water tower, just using this whole town area.
What?
That was an interesting hit there. That was something. Running back over to the shack, and
Bro bought the barbed wire chains today, huh? A little bit of extra reach. It's the little spikes on them. They got some extra reach at the end, huh? Paliloop is going to be getting over to a small loop here, but these are tiles in which Pinhead just absolutely exceed, right? It's also going to be inflicting the original pain upon them. Not going to mean a lot for the deep wound itself. It's going to make the screen a bit darker, so maybe a struggle to see the loop properly, but surprisingly enough, actually ends up getting that vault through. Another chain going to be going through. You have a long way to walk around as Pinhead, but the down should be coming through now. See what the Spy's been up to in that time. One generator has been completed. This one has 50% progress on it, and Daymao just sort of running through. Gen up top is actually going to be completed here from Obi.
Yeah, a very nice long chase from Paliloop. And again, it's Oboy coming out swinging. They want to win this, and I can't remember if this was said like during the stream while we were live, but this is a match about pride, and you can see Oboy putting up one hell of a fight for it.
Yeah, they're going for it as well. Also, maybe battling over Iridescent Shards as well. Both these teams are going to win them, for sure, but I have a feeling that this match means that it's still between getting 27,000 or 36,000, or maybe there's some other specific numbers which I'm not entirely sure on, but hey, I mean, an extra 9,000 shards is good enough for, you know, an entire DLC killer in the future if it comes out potentially, so not too shabby, right? So you're playing for some virtual money instead of real money, which is great, but not amazing. You know, Trick is going to be camping Paliloop at least to the second stage, kind of the tradition here, using the chain to continue to harass survivors from a distance. Slow down generators as much as you possibly can. Ruin is still up, so any kind of pressure you can get through is going to be good, but that's another generator completed on the other side. You're going to miss that chain with it completely. And because you weren't able to get rid of it so quickly, that bought so much time for Daymao to continue running all the way through, right? Interestingly enough, a small advantage is that with a lot of regression combinations that have Ruin, it can be a problem. It means you can't apply that regression. You can't kick the generators to apply a pop or an eruption, right? Scourge with Pain Resonance doesn't matter. You pop them on the hook. Even with Ruin, that regression is still going to be happening anyway. So a small but still significant reason as to why we're seeing these two regressions coming out here from True Trick, why they're synergizing together so well. You are just going to be camping Paliloop all the way to death here, making this a 3v1 as soon as you can, but you don't have a great 3-gen to work with. You have these 3 survivors still alive, no real threat to them yet. Still quite safe, still have lots of resource on map to work with. They have an entire main building where I don't think a single wall has been broken either. That being said, they are going to let the box, they are going to grab the box at the very last second, so almost a panic there that they were going to let the box fly, but that was not to be. Jiggy is the one in chase, sorry, not Jiggy, Daymao the one in chase. Obi was the one who solved the box, so Jiggy has to be the one working on a generator in the meantime right here. And we could be seeing a very strong survivor performance coming out here if Daymao can have this chase last just a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about the regression, the ruin, and the pain res. It doesn't really matter if you're not applying pressure to the generators, and there's a reason we see
Or getting hooked.
Yeah, or getting hooks. we see a lot of killers leave once they secure that second stage, and that's why you let go of so much gen pressure if you don't. And we do have a chase around these unsafe pallets. Obi is going to take a hit and run to the main building. Trick has done a little bit of housekeeping here, but missing the chain doesn't exactly help build his case. And just going to give up that chase, try and pressure out these generators. We have the gallows generator and the generator way back in the unsafe area. There's not a whole lot of safety around this last 3 gen because that water tower pallet has already been dropped.
The water tower pallet has been dropped, but all these kind of buildings next to it are still very much intact. All of their walls are intact. There are pallets to be using as well, but it's not ideal. Obviously, you would love to have this pallet still up to be working with, but a drop pallet here, still not particularly bad here. Survivor's actually playing this really safe. Daymao and Obi do go for that reset instead of continuing to pressure out the generators. So playing safe here, realizing that they have time to work with, and actually going to be finding the Ruin Totem as well. So now any progression they get on the generators is going to be permanent. Obi looks to be the one positioning for the save here. Would make the most sense, but someone's got to go for the box. That timer is ticking up right now, and it is going to be Daymao. Trick doesn't want to let this go too easily, doesn't want to let the unhook happen for free, so not going to be opting to teleport to that, just going to stick near the gens right now. It's not a 3 gen, at least they're on the same side of the map, right? So at least with one chain, you can kind of pressure out these from a distance, but losing Ruin means you want to apply nearly as much pressure to generators as you would want to.
Yeah, and luckily it is a small map, so despite how spread out they are, it's a very small map, and like we've been saying, it's not exactly the safest place to be working on any of these generators. And I don't know about you, but I thought I saw Survivor on that Gallows generator. Obi does come in for the save and is able to get it. This might not be a 1-for-1, but Jiggy gets hit with that original pain. There's no more endurance, and it's going to be the grab.
Grab coming through. I mean, you have to think, where's the gen pressure that's coming out from the survivors right here? Jiggy is going to be hooked up, and you have a window of opportunity for Trick to actually properly check on these generators, properly walk over to them, force the survivors off. It is the Gallows gen, which is 50% done, and Daymao does not have a bounce landing to work with, but it doesn't really matter. Obi is the one injured, going for the unhook. It's not going to be safe whatsoever. Interesting to see whether the killer actually does opt to go for Obi, at least get the down. Are you going to go for the tongue lao, or no? You're going to be getting another hook onto Obi. This is going to be another to deal with the generator that Daymao is working actively. That seems to be the rationale for it. Just get a little bit more regression through here. Jiggy, however, is injured, and on death hook is in such a precarious position right now.
Yeah, and Trick right now has a whole lot of pressure right now because Daymao is the only healthy survivor, and that seemed to not be the case. All 3 survivors now injured. They have to take time to reset.
Someone's got to do the box. They don't really have that luxury. The train hunt's going to begin now. No one's been able to do the box. It is going to be Daymao at least getting onto this upper level here, but the killer actually not going to be opting to teleport through to it. Is instead going to be pressuring out Obi, and then leaving to go check on the gens as well. Diggy trying to do some stealthing right now as Obi does mend up from that deep wound effect. Daymao has somehow been let off the hook, but these guys would love to get a reset right now, but they are so split, all in different areas of the map, and they would have to rotate through a lot of open ground to do that, and Trick has that all covered.
Yeah, and we see Trick just in the middle of the map, just shooting chains every direction, these long sight lines, enabling to just keep tabs on everything the survivors want to be doing. And it's a little different positioning than what we saw originally, that generator all the way far deep in the little cactus area. I don't know what that part of the map is called, truthfully.
The cactus area.
Yeah, the cactus area. That could be getting done. We haven't checked on it in a while, and I don't know when the last time we saw Jiggy was.
Yeah, you know where Daymao is. You have them locked down with an original pain. You have Obi locked down with original pain as well. Jiggy is kind of the X factor here.
Never mind.
Hasn't been seen for a while. Okay, Jiggy is right here. All the survivors are having a party in the corner, and I didn't get invited for whatever reason. Drop does come through here from Obi, tagged up with a chain. What do you have to work with here? You are able to break a couple of those chains, but this purple impaling wire add-on is... It's a must pick for a reason, right? You can use the environment to break the chains, but another one's going to spawn in. You can see about, 15 chains suddenly lock up a survivor all at the same time right now. I'd be very interested to see if these survivors were able to complete another generator here. Jiggy, fortunately, is going to be dodging that one briefly, but not able to have the luxury of leaving this loop. It's not a great loop either. Another miss does come through. Now you have luxury to make a little bit more distance and run yourself over to the gallows, even Shaq. And Daymao able to rotate all the way around to get the pick up onto Obi as well. G buying some excellent time in this chase, because Daymao and Obi, they have to reset, then they have to think about the box. They probably have to think about the box first even. I mean, this is just mounting pressure coming out from our pinhead here, and it seems incredibly difficult to overcome from the survivor side.
Yeah, I mean,
big fake!
Nice fake from Jiggy, but the chain coming through, it's not going to be enough, and Jiggy should be dead here, but is going to be slugged instead. Treetrick wants to pressure out this gallows generator, which does have a good amount of progress on it.
Yeah, and what can you really do with survivors right now? They're going to try and double this one up. Jiggy is going to die here, so there's no hope in saving him. And, I mean, yeah, okay, you're putting all your eggs into this basket. If you had skill checks to hit, you had to hit them right now. A couple of them are being hit right here. Obi going to be going down, and Daymao not going to be able to complete the last generator.
It was so close. It was so close.
One or two more great skill checks could have done it right there, but that was the survivors getting a little tired, thinking we just want to rush this last generator. It's so hard to complete, especially once Pinhead has that first kill, and was able to stack injury on top of injury there. I mean, very respectful play here from Treetrick, going to be getting that 4K1 on the Pinhead right here on Dead Dog Saloon as well. Survivors had a very strong early game, but definitely bought it back in the mid-game with Treetrick here today. And there it is, the 4K1. It is now going to be Oboy's turn to kill. If they are able to, win out this game with 3 gens or less completed, then that's the win for them. Obviously 4 gens would be the tie. Anything more than that, and it would be the win the other way instead, and 0Practice would take us to our tiebreaker set of the Artist. So we are going to be back with you for our rematch on the Cenobite. Don't go anywhere, we are going to be back very soon.
Hello everyone, and welcome to what could possibly be the last trial of the regular season. We have Obi playing the Cenobite for Oboy against the survivors of 0Practice, and we got a very early teleport onto Kurzep over at the water tower. That is a very early pallet drop. And while we're talking in this early game, this is Treetrick's Survivor debut for Season 9. We were talking about it before, and we looked it up, and this is the first game he's played, but it looks like a bit of a button mash issue. Jumps into the locker, jumps out, takes a hit for it, and looks like Kurzep is going to be able to make some distance. You see a slightly different build here for Obi.
Yeah, the main difference is rapid brutality, right? Instead of the ruin. So you're giving yourself a stronger chase, in exchange for regression, right? Now, you'd think, why Rapid Brutality on Pinhead specifically? Well, because you're using your power so often, you aren't really going to get Bloodlust in Chase. So that whole problem is mitigated. Other than that, it's just a pretty good chase perk, innit? An extra haste after you hit a survivor. Well, Pinhead is an M1 killer who's pretty good at hitting survivors, right? That's kind of his thing, right? That's a very early hook that does come through here for Obi as well. So it's a good start here for the time being. See how Obi wants to pressure out these other generators if they even can. I'm just super interested to see Tree Trick. I mean, this is a first-time survival performance, of course. We'll see how it's been going. Of course, there aren't any points to play for anymore. It's all just, you know, pride and a couple of iridescent shards, so the stakes are a bit lower. But still, very intriguing. We are going to be putting this man's 1v1 under an absolute microscope, because that's what we do. I love talking about players who are just better than me at the game and saying, well, actually, maybe they should have played this palette instead, whereas my ass would just be running into a wall the whole time.
Yeah, we get to criticize plays, and no one gets to tell us otherwise. We don't know what we're actually talking about. But we do have the box has not been picked up yet. We're gonna have that chase cut coming in, and Tree Trick gets hit, and Obi doing a very good job of protecting this survivor on the hook and making sure that nothing can really be done. Chasey does get the box and is in chase. That could be some trouble for 0Practice, but Obi is gonna let it go. And we see the interrupt with the chain.
Yes, you do. That's a pretty big deal, but actually not fully committing onto Ziesi. He's just using that to delay even more. Gonna be doing it again. Obi! Obi! They have a wife and kids. Why are you doing this for, man? I thought it was a chilled out day. You're finally going to let Ziesi solve the box, and you are just going to camp Kurzep all the way to death. I mean, we make fun of that because, admittedly, it's very funny to look at. But also, that's a good play because it means that Ziesi is doing absolutely nothing. You know, you can assume that Sayora would be the one positioning for the unhook. Ziesi is the one solving the box. That means you know only Tree Trick was working on the generators in that time and was injured as well, and is now going to be hitting the chain down very quickly. And this is going to force the rest of the 0Practice survivors to scatter a little bit.
Yeah, this could be a pain res onto Sayora's generator, but it's actually just gonna be forced off entirely because where the hook is, and Tree Trick for once being on the receiving end of a hook for the first time this season.
Just like, yes, yeah, you see how it feels, Tree Trick. It's not nice, is it? Yeah.
We are going to get into a chase with, I'm not entirely sure who, it is going to be Sayora running around at the main building. Does go for a bit of the drop-down mind game now, trying to serve Obi at the bar, seeing if buying him a drink or two will get him to stop chasing, but the answer is no. Sayora does take a hit, and that rapid brutality coming into effect. Obi going for a chain, not quite able to get anything off of it, and Tree Trick does get pulled off the hook in the meantime.
Yeah, that's a really nice chain though, and that's going to make it down almost too easy right now. Obi and Oboy in a pretty commanding position right now to 2-0 this. Ziesi was forced to hop off the generator to get Tree Trick off the hook. You have potential for another pain resonance hook here for Obi, just going to be going straight to it. Ziesi is actually going to be opting to maybe take a hit here. Is this going to buy the time that you need? Just not quite. And the pain resonance as well. Now every survivor is injured too. In a perfect world here, Obi, you get your quick down onto Ziesi, or at the very least tag him up with that original pain, able to pressure Tree Trick off their generator as well, and then Bob's your uncle, right? That'll be your win. Remember that if two generators do go, then that is the tie condition. Obi right now is in such a strong spot, you do not want to let that happen, right? Plus, Box is going to be a problem now, because Ziesi is going to trade 1-for-1, but Obi doesn't care, because we know that Tree Trick is going to have to get off that generator to deal with the box. Or not, or is just going to let it through anyway.
I think Obi got a little lost for a second.
Yeah, Obi did get lost. The chain is good there. And now you just have a single injured Tree Trick. Oh boy. Look, Tree Trick, this is your first survival performance, and now the entire game is on your shoulders. So, you know, no pressure, right?
No pressure whatsoever, and probably no practice, just like the team name.
Oh,
and
mate.
it does manage to pick Jesse off the ground, and that box still has not been picked up, and it's on the other side of the map. This is.
It's not gonna be. They're just not gonna solve the box. I mean, hell of a play from the 0Practice survivors to simply not do the box. I guess they're just not really in a position to do so right now. They are actually able to get Sayora off the hook, so somehow, some way, still alive for the time being. This gen's been regressing the entire time since that pain resonance got put onto it. If you're Obi right now, all you need is this down onto, you just need this down onto Sayora. You're gonna find two within the trace instead. Tag them up. Are you able to make the distance in time? Yes, you are. So that's going to be two survivors now dead on hook for this side. You can even pop them in the basement should you so wish, but isn't going to be opting to instead. Every single survivor injured. You can continue to bully them out from a distance with original pain. Ziesi is trying to use that deja vu to complete this top gen, taking advantage of, I believe, that 6% increased repair speed, but is now going to be hit with an original pain. Is going to have to spend some time mending that as well. Obi is in such a commanding position, especially because every single remaining generator looks to be on this side of the map.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to be commencing the mending simulator here, with Obi just wanting to camp out Tree Trick, show him who's the better player, and
This is what it's like to be proxy camp Tree Trick, yeah? How do you like it? Just remembering all of the time. Obi just remembering back to all of the times in past matches or scrims that Tree Trick's been, you know, just proxying him on the hook and forcing him to mend over and over again. Like, yeah? How does it feel?
Wait, we could get the tie condition. The survivors on that main building generator are getting a good amount of progress done, and Obi has been missing the past few chains.
I doubt it, right? Obi is going to instantly come to pressure out this topside gen here. Down onto Ziesi. It could be Swift, but that being said, this main pallet this main building, had not had any renovations done on it, and is going to be missing right here. What can you even do here? Because the chase is in main building, so you can't just get Sayora to rotate here, right? All that you can really do is, for this tie is, I don't know, have this chase last for another minute or so, and seeing where the chains are right now, and the fact that the killer is in fact right behind Ziesi, I do not think that is possible right now. Remember that Generator's complete is our primary win condition, so even if by some miracles they was able to get a hatch escape here, it's not really going to be mattering, right? Ziesi also going to be put on a pain resistance hook just for good measure. Make sure that main building gen has no chance of being completed right now, and this is all but a foregone conclusion, right? I do not see a world in which 0Practice will be able to win this one. I think, might be a little early, but I think I'm confident to give Oboy the 2-0 here.
I don't know. We saw the heroics from Sarah at the very start of this match, and, you know, last game of the regular season.
In the nicest way possible, you're wrong.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that Oboy isn't gonna win. I'm just saying that this game is probably far from. Never mind. No. Tell me more. Far from over. Right. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the last game of our regular season. Round of applause, everyone. That's it for our regular season. Obviously, everyone has been working so hard on this for the past. What week are we on? I believe, what is this, week 8? Week 9. Week 9.
Week 9. Jesus. Remember, this is all volunteer run as well, so regular season, gonna be gone with, well, Tree Trick Survivor. So you can call it a whimper, you can call it a flash in the pan, you can call it whatever the hell you want, but that is going to be a nice 2-0 for Oboy to finish up our regular season. I mean, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for our regular season of DBDL here. Of course, this is the 9th season of DBDL, 6 years since it has been created. Obviously, Williawesome, you were here at the very start, and you, I believe you were on the stream last weekend, right, to celebrate
Yes,
that
I
anniversary.
was. I wasn't just here at the start. I was the one who founded it. So that's
Of
a
course,
little bit
yeah.
of an understatement, but
Just I'm the king of understatements, right? So Williawesome, it's so nice that this. It's actually really nice that in the final match of regular season we do have the founder of DBDL coming back in here as well. So obviously it's super fun time. Will, thanks for founding all of this. Was there anything that you wanted to say before we left off with one final message?
I know we still have the playoffs, but I think that might be it for me. I'm not privy to the last casting duo like my co-caster is, so who knows? Maybe I'm in it. I don't know. But thank you all for 9 amazing seasons, and thank you for 6 years of DBDLeague, and thank you to I know long thank you spiel that I always give. Thank you to the casters, the community, the staff, everyone who makes everything happen, the players, the teams, and having been here for 9 seasons, I think I'm probably the best person to say this, but I think this has been the most competitive season we have had to date. So I'm really excited to see what the playoffs bring, and frankly, I'll probably go back and rewatch a lot of the matches from this season when they get uploaded to YouTube, because this has been an amazing season so far.